Hello there friends, my name is Devasha. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back. I apologize dearly for any noise you can hear in the background. My family is playing Super Mario and it's getting really heated. If I can't edit them out, my B. So for today's video, we're going to be doing a tag. Okay, so this is the main character tag. It was created by Wallis, Katie Ann, Steeg, and I. It's supposed to be a spoiler-free way to introduce people to your main character so that they have a better sense of your main character and your story when you're talking about it in your vlogs. There are 8 questions. There's some really good ones on this tag that are not your basic, what is your character's fatal flaw? So this first question is kind of a 3-parter. Question number 1 is, what is your main character's name? How did you, as the author, come up with that name? And how does your main character feel about their name? The main character in my current work in progress, a new working title pending, but her name is Tiara. Her full name is Tiara Wald, but I'm not sure how I feel about the last name yet. The first name just kind of came to me. I knew a girl named Tiara in middle school, and I've always loved the name. So one day it just like cropped up in my head, and I was like, that is perfect for her. And it means Earth, and she's from Earth, so it's a little extra pizzazz. Even though the character changed from inception, it still fits her like to her core. So she likes her name. It's probably the one thing in life that brings her comfort. It's like the one thing she hasn't agonized over in her life. Yeah, she's really connected to her name. Question number 2 is, what is your main character's zodiac sign? Even if they live in a fantasy world, even if their like moon sun cycles are different, what is their vibe? I literally had no idea, so I took a BuzzFeed quiz. I took 2 BuzzFeed quizzes, in fact, and they gave me 2 different results. One suggested fire signs like Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, and the other one suggested Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces, water signs. I thought about her character and I just kind of meshed them because I think she would be an Aries sun with like a Cancer moon. I don't know how that pans out with like the solar cycle, but I think it fits her. I think it fits with the attributes that I've assigned to her. Like, she's very fiery and impulsive, very charismatic, and she's also very selfish, which is a trait of Aries that is kind of like a large part of what she has to overcome through the plot. As for the Cancer energy, I would say she's also at the same time very withdrawn. Like every Cancer I know, she is emotional. A big ass crybaby. Aries sun, Cancer moon. I haven't quite worked out when her birthday would be yet though. Question number 3 is, what is your main character's relationship to the person or people who raised them? So this question is actually like a big small part of the plot. She has had a good childhood up until a point, up until something happens to her that causes strife in the family, and that strife kind of like irrevocably breaks her trust in her parents, which causes her to run away as a teen. Now she has no connection, no contact, no relationship with them, with her parents, like of her own accord. And I think that if she were to crop back up in their life, they would be happy to see her and welcome her back. But if the reverse happened, if they cropped up in her life again, the first thing she would do is run away. Question number 4, what is your main character's most important memory prior to the start of the book / series? This is also kind of a tiny bit of the book. As a kid, she was of no fault of the parents. She was in this basically bad situation, and this woman who had rescued her dies and leaves her with her baby. So basically she's 10 years old in the middle of this war scene, trauma bonded to this baby who her parents end up adopting and becomes her brother. So like that is the most important memory to her. Question number 5 is, your character walks into a library. Which section do they go to first? In my head, Tiara is not much of a reader. Like, I headcanon her as to be a more visual person. So I think she would head like directly to the film TV section of the library or to the magazines. But I'm leaning more towards film. She would be more into like nature documentaries. Yeah, she's very into the visual aesthetic of nature. Question number 6 is, Would your character survive the Oregon Trail? For anyone who does need context, the Oregon Trail was. I'm not great at American history, and so the Oregon Trail is also a educational video game for kids to teach them that aspect of history, where your little avatar goes through this trip and either live or die of like dysentery or something. So, Oregon Trail. So, would Tiara survive the Oregon Trail? I love this question because I think it explains two facets of her. Could she survive the Oregon Trail? Yes, she could. She absolutely could, like out of pure spite. But would she? I don't think so. I think she would probably like hedge her bets and unalive herself. Yeah, I don't think she would care to endure the hardship of it. At the first sign of inconvenience, she would probably just. On to slightly less morbid things. Question number 7 is, what would your character ask for if they made a deal with a crosswords demon? And this is by far my favorite question, not because I came up with it, but because it can really get deep into your character's like psyche. She would ask to become untouchable. Like in her head, she would reason it to mean that she would get like total political amnesty. She would be able to do whatever she wanted, go wherever she wanted, not be limited by her status and life and her past being held over her head. But in asking for that, she would probably literally end up not being able to be touched by people, which I don't know, would have its merits in a different way. So for our final question, for question number 8, what will your character think about on their deathbed? So I have 2 answers for this. I think if she were an old person just like dying as old people do, she would think about the time she spent wasted being vengeful, being angry. She would probably mourn the time she wasted when she could have been doing literally anything else and just living her life. But caveat, if she were the age she is now, dying of some like because of some reckless shit, she would think about her brother. She would be wistful and like wishing that she could have been in his life, just his reaction to her death, his future, and that's what I think. I think if she was just like a old bitch, she would think about the time she spent wasted being a stupid young bitch. But if she died as a young bitch, she would think about how people perceived her in her life, about how the people she cared about perceived her in her life and up until her death. Okay, so that's the end of this video. That was the main character tag. I'm going to put the questions in the description box, and I'm going to link to Wallis and Kitty Ann's videos. If you would like to do this tag, I implore you to. And even if you don't want to do the tag, if you have an answer for any of the following questions, you can leave them in the comments. Let me know what your character's crossroads demon deal is, what they think about on their deathbed. That's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more from me, you can subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one pretty soon. It'll be pretty soon, I promise. So, oh, sorry. I'm just dying because they're being ridiculous. So,